right, ready? All right. So this is our first time not allowing. You guys can do whatever you want. This is our first time where we are giving you guys the opportunity to share your stories and speak on a team call. And me and Kelsey are super excited for you guys to like break out of your comfort zone and get used to speaking on team calls. We definitely feel that there is, it's good that it's a little bit more intimate within our teams because it's small right now, which it won't be for long because we're growing. And yeah, we just really want you guys to get comfortable sharing your story and being open and honest. This is going to help you guys grow in so many different ways. So for our first team, or for our first speaker, it is going to be India. India actually joined my team last February. Was it February? So India actually signed up with Kate, and Kate actually signed up with a girl, Nicole, who was no longer on our team. So everyone kind of moved up. And so here we are. India volunteered because she's a badass, and she is going to go first. And then I think Jen will follow. So it is all yours.
I get the mute button off. Okay, so hello to everyone. My name is India, for those that don't know me. And like Mel said, I joined Team Tough Love. I actually think it was in March. I think that was my sign up date. She kind of gave my backstory. I signed up with Kate, who is also one of the coaches on our team, and through things that happened, I ended up as one of Mel's personally sponsored coaches. So it's all in the same family, so it doesn't really matter to me. They're both great leaders. So I do have a few little slides that I can share if I can share my screen. Is that available? No.
Yeah, you should just be able to go down to the bottom box and it says share right in between participants and chat.
You just got to give me the permission to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
That's okay.
Is it there now? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So, and I'm just going to put this in big mode, maybe. There we go. So again, I'm India. I am part of the Team Tough Love, upper line or sister team of Team Boom. I started in March of 2019 with the programs. I am a retired hairstylist, and I am 42 years young. These are a few of my favorite things that I'm obsessed with. I love anime, playing video games, Pepsi. I am obsessed with tiny homes and French fries. Those are like my top 5 of everything right there. Let's see if I can move this over here. Next slide. These are my girls. I am the mother of 2 college-age girls. This is Anya and this is Ashley. I actually have their names backwards. A little bit about what they're majoring in school. They're actually going to be graduating this year, so I am up to be an empty nester soon. These are my other 2 girls who will be with me much longer than the other 2 girls because they're going to be leaving. Rosie and Pepper, they are the joy of my life. Literally, they bring me so much peace and happiness. They're really good dogs. And so this is kind of where my story starts. I am an endometriosis survivor. Didn't know that in the beginning, and that's kind of what got me on this journey. I had to have a major surgery, and after that surgery, these are the things that I was left with. Mentally defeated, loss of confidence, depression. I was no longer building new relationships, nor was I maintaining the existing ones that I had. And I could always find a reason to be unhappy. These things just came with the surgery. It was kind of like a postpartum um, after effect. And if no one minds, I'll share because I'm very open about it. I had a full hysterectomy in my 30s, and it literally just destroyed my mental state because I thought, "Oh, I'm not a whole woman anymore. What am I going to do?" My body was changing, my hormones were still out of control. And I kind of gave up because I felt like I had lost something. I don't know what, but in my mind, I lost something with that surgery, and I let it basically allow me to lose myself. Um, so I have always been active with sports and outdoor stuff, things with my girls. They're my best friends. And I kind of started getting into this place where I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. Um, I could lay in the bed for days at a time and never get up but to go to the restroom. That type of depression is where I was left at. So after about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years of literally dealing with that, I would literally force myself to go to work, come home, go to bed. That was it. I don't know what my kids were eating. I don't know what my husband was doing. It was just all about me and this dark place I was in. Um, I kind of got to a point, my kids were going to high school. They needed me. I've always been there to support them. They play sports, all of their clubs. And I was just, it's like, I don't want to do this, but I knew I needed to do it for my girls because that's what they were used to having, the strong mama who was fearless, and I'm laying in the bed crying. So I needed to change. And excuse me, I might get emotional, and I do every time I talk about this. Um, but I started trying to figure out ways to handle it on my own. I wouldn't talk to anybody about it, not even my husband. Um, I had the surgery, I came home, and we never spoke about it. And that was all on me because I felt like I had to hold it all in. I had to handle it. It was my cross to bear. No one could help me. That's just the kind of mentality that I had, which was not the correct mentality. So I have learned. So yeah, I started trying to figure out things to get me more active, get me back out. But after spending so much time alone, it was hard to get out and make friends because I thought, they're probably not going to like me. What do we have in common? And I still had this lack of confidence. So I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm this outgoing person. I've got so much to offer to a friend or to anyone. I thought I had nothing to offer. Nothing good would come of it. Just pretty much a negative mind state about meeting other people. Um, and I basically could not come up with anything. I was just spinning in circles over and over and over and over again. Um, I wanted to figure out a way to get the hormones under control without being on all the different types of trial medications. I didn't want to be a guinea pig and just start taking stuff, so I tried to find natural or holistic remedies, things of that nature. Um, some things worked, but only for a short period of time. And I basically was talking to a woman who said, it's probably your diet. Like if you change your diet, that might help with some of the hormone issues since you don't want to get on any of the medication. Um, so then I started trying to figure out ways to change my diet. I've never been a bad eater, but during this time of depression, either I wasn't eating at all, and if I did, it was French fries and Pepsi. Like I think I lived off of French fries and Pepsi for like 3 years. I don't remember a meal that I ate in 3 years outside of French fries and Pepsi. And that definitely was not good for my health. Fast forward, I I was working at a hair salon, and I befriended one of the ladies there, and we hit it off. We're both like bad bitches with opinions, and I think that's kind of where our connection started because we have a lot of opinions about everything. And we would start talking in the back room and just hanging out. And we started talking about, being healthier, working out more, up changing our diet. And she had already started kind of the process before me. And um, I have joined this program. I think she was doing a 2-week trial, or she had just rolled into the next step of, like, it sounds like something you may be interested in. Yeah, hell yeah. And now I have someone who's also a better version of themselves, and they want to do it with me. So I was like, I'm all in. What do I got to do? What do I have to do to work out with you and just kind of start this process? And that is what leads me to slide. So Miss Kate Adams is, again, the friend, co-worker, homie that got me signed up with Beachbody Workouts. Man, let me tell you, it was fun. We signed up right at the time when they were going to be doing the 21-day fix real time, and they were actually showing it as they were recording it. And that was the first program that I did with Kate. We would tune in. She'd be like, girl, they get ready to log on. Let's get online. And we do our workout, you know, and that felt really good. I started feeling like I felt like I'm opening up again. This is not a bad thing to have a friend who's checking on me and making sure I'm doing the right thing. And so that started with that. And then as we go on, she's already into the ultimate portion fix. She's coming to work with her containers. She's got portions. She's telling me about her meal prep. She's just showing me all these different things. She's coming to work with her shaker cup, with her little vegan shake, which she tried to kill me on, but we won't talk about that. And I was just like, I want in. I want to know how to do it. She made it look so easy. I mean, she's already a beautiful girl, but she comes in, she's got her lunch pill, she's pulling out her little stuff, and I'm like a dork over here. All I got to do is work out. How do I get in on this eating plan? How do I find a meal plan that works for me? So she definitely gives me all the information that she has on it. She's like, so there's going to be an additional charge because now you're going to have to purchase the UPF kit. And I'm like, I don't care. When I get my next paycheck, I'm going to buy it. I don't care how much it costs. I'm just in because I want to do this with you and I want to do it for myself. And I needed somebody to do it with me because I would have never done it on my own, you know? So that's what I did. We completed 21-day fix. It was a blast. And then we went and we did 21-day fix extreme real time, which was also fun. So those are my favorite programs. And it is where I start everybody. Literally anybody that wants to join with me and they go, well, what do I do? 21-day fix. It's like a great foundational program and it gets you set for any of the other programs that you might want to do. So that was that. I'm good. We're doing well. I'm working out. I'm eating better. Then we hear about Summit. Summit is a game changer. If you are on this call, we won't have Summit this year, but if you're new to Beachbody, nothing kicks in your mind until you go to Summit. Once you go to Summit, you see the lights, you see the crowds, you see the women coming together, supporting each other. You see the ladies going across the stage with their teams. That's where it all makes sense. That's where I decided, wait, I'm signing up as a coach. I can make money doing this, and this is what I can get in return. I'm in. I am down. So from March to July, I never messed with my business account. I only did my workouts. I only tried to stick to my meal plan. We talked about it, Kate and I, but it wasn't a big deal. I was more focused on myself. But after Summit, hands down, there's no other way or anything else I would rather be doing right now other than being a coach with Beachbody and hanging out with you girls, I'm telling you. I met Mel for the first time at Summit. Her and I had only texted a few times going over some lodging things, but we had never met. Kate, I think, knew her a little bit better. And, you know, she's like, no, she's good. She's cool. You know, she's point blank. Now, don't get me wrong. She's going to just give you the business, but she doesn't do it like coming from a bad place. Like she literally cares. She's just trying to help. That's just who she is. Um, so this is a picture of the three of us at the what is that? What do we call those?
Super
Uh,
Saturday.
Super Saturday. Sorry, like I can't even remember what it's called now. So this would have been like the second time that I seen Mel, and I thought it was just an awesome day altogether. Again, Mel and the Babe Cave have provided awesome community and support and accountability for me and for everybody else. So it's definitely the banger team to be on. No offense to any other teams. Um, Next is just kind of where I am now. What in the continuation of what Beachbody has done for me. So whereas I was mentally defeated, I've learned how to win the morning, set the tone for the day, and collect myself. Um, Scheduling my time, which was a lot of my mental defeat because I am a busy person. And I did not know how to really break down my time so I could actually do stuff and then still have time for myself. Depression, I'm going to still battle with that. It's part of who I am. But through personal development, which Beachbody really enforces, which I know about, I'm sure we all know about, but it was never like made to be, you got to do this every day type of thing, has changed my life. I can identify my triggers. I know when I'm getting ready to go down a rabbit hole. I know how to, like I said, recenter myself, get myself together, get back on the grind. Whereas I wasn't building relationships, now it's my job every day to connect with new people, make new relationships, and I love it. I have met so many people just from doing the business activity tracker that it's amazing. Like, I never would have thought that a person at my age could meet so many new people that were on the same page and be my kind of girl. And then lastly, gratitude. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for shit that doesn't even exist yet, right? So it doesn't leave me room to be unhappy anymore because the moment I start thinking those negative, bad things, I go, but wait a minute, I got this going on. I have this team. I have my health back. I have my confidence back. So I use gratitude as my way not to go into the rabbit hole. That way I don't even have to use the techniques because I'm not even going there. So yeah, that's that. I get really excited. So, and this picture just kind of shows, whereas before I was just the girl who lost her parts in surgery. And that's how I thought of myself for so long. Now I'm still a mom. I'm a badass mom. I am on a journey. I am getting results. I picked up gardening. I love working my coach business, and I've turned into a little bit of a planner. I've gone crazy with planner stickers. Me and this passion planner are going to the grave together. Let me tell you, it is the most fun every week for me. Yes. Planning is, yes. I don't know. I never would have thought that I was that kind of chick, but I got this at the beginning of the year, and I'm telling you, daily, all I do is think of what color scheme can I use now? What else can I find to write in my planner? Did I write everything down? So like that's become my thing. Just to show that once I got out of that place that I was in, I found that there were more things that I could be interested in. I didn't think that you could teach an old dog new tricks, as the saying goes, but apparently so, because I've learned a lot of them and I've learned a lot about myself. So that's my story. Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh my God. I
Oh,
love
wait. I got one more thing. I forgot.
Okay.
One more thing, because I know we are timed here. I have one more slide. Where is it? It's my favorite quote right here. Work is love made visible. Um, I think everybody gets something different from that quote. So I just want to leave it with you guys. And at some point in time, come back to me. Let me know what that quote done for you. Because for me, it kind of incorporates everything in my life. And definitely this new life that I have with Beachbody. So yeah, now I'm done.
You did so good. I had no idea about any of that, because we didn't connect one-on-one together. It was, how you
Yeah.
up on the team, but I love that.
Aw.
I love that you are, you were brave enough to share that with us. And I think that I'm sure a lot of women who have been through something like that can relate to feeling as though, they lost a part of themselves. I cannot imagine. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Um, it's, I'm sure things like that result in that surgery are way more common than just like miscarriages are. And so I'm sure that you could connect and relate to a lot of people, and you could provide a lot of help to those people to, help them get back out. I love McDonald's French fries so much, and I think I haven't had them in like a year. But I love the gardening. I don't know how yours is doing, but ours is like, the weather has like been terrible,
The
but
weather has been bad, but it's actually doing pretty good. I kept them in the house for so long.
yeah.
They're pretty strong. So everything that I have out there is doing really good. I've started a whole new second round of stuff. So my workout area has turned into a whole new starter area for baby plants. So
Nice. I just love India really is good about taking direction, and just she's quiet, but she really does take direction, and she is always doing the things, and she's always on the power hours, and she shows up. And I love that you listen to a different podcast every day. I think that's really cool, because new podcasts do. I'm positive. I'm almost positive every podcast they like release a new episode weekly. So
yes.
so you're listening to something new every single day of the week, which is really cool. Thank you so much for sharing. You just like, I can't stop smiling.
Oh, thank you guys for letting me share that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I'm like holding back tears. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know so much of your story, so that was awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna switch over to Jen, and I'm excited. I think just like going back to this whole idea when Mel this was Mel's idea, and at first I was like, yeah, I like that idea, but I guess I just wasn't thinking about how, I forget, even as a coach of a couple years, like how powerful someone's story is and how important it is for us to hear it. Because sometimes I think we don't have stories, but we all have a story, and we all have someone's life to touch. And, India just touched all of our lives in so many different ways. Like, I'm sure if we all went around and just said what she shared, what stood out to you, you have a way of connecting with people. And that's kind of the foundation of this business, is just not to sell challenge packs, but to, speak your truth and inspire someone. So just back to the whole idea. I love this. So, okay, so now we're going to do Jen. I'm super excited to have her talk. She became a coach last summer. She immediately hit the ground running, and she's one of the most hardworking, busy mamas. Her kids literally get up at the crack of dawn. So I have no idea how she functions at 8:57 at night, but she does it. And I think she has a lot of good stuff to share with us. So turn it over to you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'm going to share my screen real quick, because I know that if I didn't have any slides that I would just talk on and on and on, and I didn't want to do that. So my story, and you'll know why the background is the way that it is in a little bit. So my story starts off, this is my whole entire family. It's my husband and my 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. And so my backstory is basically kind of connects to my sisters. I'm a middle child. This is me in a blue dress. And my 2 sisters were very athletic, super skinny. This is my younger sister, Casey. She's very confident in her, she's seriously confident in everything. She is a stand-up comedian. She left Florida, all of her friends and everything, a year after graduating high school, and went to LA and was in LA for 1 whole year. She worked with Ellen. She worked with Jay Leno, and literally just blew my mind away with everything that she did out in LA. She now lives in right outside Fort Lauderdale. So that is my little sister Casey and her wife Amanda. I couldn't find one just herself that would fit in the picture. My older sister Marsha. Yes, Marsha. She is a marketing, she works part-time right now as a marketing specialist. And she's also a yoga instructor. And she basically just radiates confidence. She is very into her, into helping others, but she just, I don't know what it is about her, but I always looked up to her. So I had these 2 sisters that I always that would be so confident, and I never had that. I was never into working out. I would write excuse notes to get out of high school PE, like fake notes, so that I didn't have to be in it. And I hated the way that I looked. My body, never was really happy about it. So that's a little bit of where I'm coming from. And then adulthood. I transitioned out of high school and went immediately into the corporate world, thinking that that's what I wanted to do. I was a little bit of a black sheep because both my sisters went to college, and I tried it, but just wasn't my thing. So I went straight into corporate world, and then ended up meeting my husband. He was my boyfriend at the time, and he was in college. We met at a local bar, which is something that you don't see nowadays, but met him at a local bar that I went to just to dance with my friends, and ended up meeting him. And this is literally the move that brought me over the edge, and I needed to get his phone number and stuff. But basically in the club, in the bar, he was wearing a tie, and I grabbed it and all that. So basically I met him, we dated for 6 years, and ended up, he was the one that kind of told me that I should, cause he was in school at the time. I said, why don't I just go ahead and go back to college and try my hand out. I really wanted to be a teacher. So that's what I went into, college. I went into elementary education. So I literally went through the whole entire process as we were dating, and graduated. And as soon as I graduated, I got into, he proposed at Disney, right in front of the Cinderella's castle. And immediately after we got married, within probably 7 to 8 months, I got pregnant with our first son, Lance, and he's in the picture right here. And as a new mom, I got all the anxiety. I literally didn't know how to place all the anxiety. I was up constantly with the baby and nervous, and just, all those new mom things. So I went on anxiety medication, and I started taking it very regularly, and I had to get it to the dosage that it was proper, and all of those new anxiety situations that were going on in my head. And I also went back into teaching after he was 7 weeks old. He went into daycare, and I hated it with every fiber of my being, but I had to work. So so that was the, we got into our little life of the 3 of us, and we really wanted to grow our family. So we went ahead and started trying for another child. And what you didn't know was during Lance's birth, he would not come through my pelvic bone, and I ended up having emergency surgery. And during this emergency surgery, they did something, which I'll explain later. And they ended up ripping my cervix completely up, and which then goes to Olivia. When we got pregnant with Olivia, we got pregnant right away, and things were going really smoothly other than me being really super sick, and I could not gain weight. And they were very worried because I was 15 weeks pregnant and I was not gaining anything. And so they started saying, okay, you need to start gaining weight. Let's do this. And they gave me a protein shake. So starting there I was drinking like Ensure, and I started gaining the weight. And as I was gaining the weight, my cervix was not holding her correctly. And we went in for a normal routine checkup, 20 week pregnant checkup, normal routine. Let's go in, let's see the gender, super excited, hoping for a girl, and found out it was a girl. And then 5 minutes later, we found out we were losing her. After we found out we were losing her, we realized that it was because of my cervix was not holding it. It became an incompetent cervix. And the following day, immediately, I remember it because it was very hard. It was 5 p.m. I was the last patient. They said 8 a.m. the next day, you need to be in emergency surgery for a vaginal cerclage. And we're all ladies here. Here's your vag. Vaginal cerclage means they take your cervix, which is basically looks like this, and they sew it shut so it does not come apart while you are pregnant. And when you're pregnant, basically it loosens up and it opens so that you can let the baby out. They immediately shut my vag. Basically, they sewed it shut. And the high-risk doctor did not like the fact of what my cervix looked like. Basically, your cervix looks like this. My cervix was like this. And they're supposed to take it's actually technically the bottom part, but for all intents and purposes, they basically sew this part shut, down the bottom, shut. And what basically happened was there was nothing for them to sew together. Basically they took the wall and they sewed it shut to my cervix because there was nothing there, and they prayed for mercy. I walked out of there with a 50% chance of saving Olivia, and obviously she did not survive, based on the picture there. So from there, I was put on bed rest, and I stayed on bed rest for 4 days after my surgery. And the Saturday, this was the Saturday before Easter in 2015. I was on bed rest. My parents had come over to come over and help me clean the house to get ready for Easter. Took a shower, came out, and my water broke after the shower. I had not known that it was my water because with Lance, they did everything for me. We went to the hospital. My parents had left to go home because they're only 30 minutes away. And they turned around and came back so that they could watch Lance. And me and my husband went to the hospital. And basically at the hospital, they checked everything and they said that there's nothing that we can do for you. You can wait until the morning, Easter morning, to see if you want to talk to the doctor and see what he can do. And I said, okay. So we waited till the next morning, and the doctor said, there's really nothing we can do for you. You can have a DNC or you can pray. And I said, I'm going to pray and you can let me out, and I'm going to go home and I'm going to be on bed rest forever until this baby comes. And at that point, I was 20 weeks and 5 days pregnant. When I went in for the vaginal cerclage, they said, we would like this baby to make it to 23 weeks or 28 weeks. That would be a viable baby. But when I went in to the hospital, they said, we would like for you to now make it to 23 weeks. And I said, that's where I'm going to make it. I'm going to go home. I'm going to drink as much water as I can, because basically when you drink the water, that's why they ask you to drink so much water when you're pregnant, is because the baby will pee and make the amniotic fluid. And if there's a lot of amniotic fluid, yes, I'm going to be peeing a lot, but it'll hold the baby in. And so I prayed, I went home, and they said, look for this, this, and this, which is, they said, look for signs of illness, which throwing up, body chills, any of the high temperature or a spiked temperature. I got home, and 20 minutes later, I was throwing up. I had spiked my fever. My fever was 104 within 20 minutes. And I had so many chills. I was freezing, but yet I had a high temperature. So at that time, called my parents. They came and grabbed, they came back, and my husband stayed home to wait for them to come and pick up, to grab my son. And I was shoveled off into a ambulance. All I remember from that day, which was Easter afternoon, was my son, and I'm getting emotional, I'm sorry, my son yelling out, "What's wrong with mommy?" I got into the ambulance, and she was kicking at the time, but by the time we got to the hospital, she was no longer kicking. And I was so sick that I was in and out of consciousness in the ambulance. And by the time we got to the hospital, she was had already passed, because the nurse said that they can't find a heartbeat. That was one of the hardest things that I ever had to hear. And I've always wanted a daughter, but I didn't realize that my daughter was going to be in heaven. So at that point, I had to go through the motions. I had to they had to first figure out what was wrong with me, because I couldn't deliver Olivia, which we named her Olivia Faye after my after my husband's mother, Olivia Faye. Olivia was my name that I wanted, and then Faye was his mom's name. And they first had to figure out what was wrong with me, because I was super sick, before they could deliver her. Took them 24 hours to figure out it took them 3 days to figure out what was wrong with me, but I was healthy enough to deliver her the next day. So on April 6th of 2015 at 1:18 p.m., I delivered Olivia vaginally. They took out my vaginal cerclage, and I delivered her vaginally. And I was in and out because I was so sick, and I don't remember much, but I do remember waking up and them putting in a central line into my neck. I do remember them waking up and feeling so much excruciating pain. And I do remember delivering her, and the doctor saying, "Do you want to see her?" And I said, "No, I do not, because once I see her, I will never be able to leave her." So they carried her away. I had people take pictures of her, which to this day I have not seen. And I stayed in the hospital for 1 week after, because 3 days later, they found out that I had E. coli and sepsis. I was literally 2 hours away from dying, which they told my husband to also prep for my death. I was on my deathbed. I was super, super sick. I was in ICU. And then I had about 20 or so doctors consulting on me and my case to make sure that I was getting better. And by the following week, she passed on, I feel like she passed on Sunday, Easter Sunday. The next day I delivered her, but within a week, I was leaving the hospital with a PICC line in my arm, which I still have the scar from, because I needed antibiotics delivered straight to my bloodstream. And so I found out she had passed. A week later, I was leaving the hospital, and then a week later, I was getting my PICC out. So April is a very, very stressful month for me, just because of everything that happened for her death. So after, obviously, I had babies after that. So after we found out, after things happened with Olivia, we really did want to grow our family. So we went ahead and figured out what was wrong. We went to a high-risk doctor, and I don't know why it's not moving on, but we went to a high-risk doctor. And basically what happened was during my C-section with Lance, my oldest one, they found out that they botched my C-section and they cut up my cervix, and that's why it was missing during my vaginal cerclage. The only way that I could possibly get pregnant again, I could get pregnant, but I would never be able to hold a baby, would be to, I could either have another vaginal cerclage, which there's a chance that it would not hold, or I could go in for a TAC, a TAC, or a transabdominal cerclage. There's only, as far as I know, the high-risk doctor, there's only 2 people in the US who do the TAC. One, they do it robotically. The other one does it with his hands. I was like, I want somebody in there doing it, so I know that there's no mistakes. And so the only person that did it was Dr. Haney in Chicago. So we flew out. So we lost Olivia in April. In November of that year, we flew up to Chicago, and luckily I have a family member up there, and stayed with her and got the TAC by Dr. Haney, flew back down, and literally he went into my C-section scar. So here's your cervix. And here's the picture. I'm gonna use my hand. He put 3 bands. So a TAC is basically shutting your cervix closed for as long as you like. So he put a band here. He put a band over my scar, and he put a band at the bottom. Normally he puts 2, but he said I put 3 on there just to be sure that it stays. So as soon as I was done with the surgery, he said, you could get pregnant right now if you'd like. I said, hold up, let's wait. So a month later, we started trying for Sawyer. And that's him right there. And I got pregnant with him right away. And we had Sawyer of August. In August, he was supposed to be due in September 8th, but we have to have him 2 weeks early because I cannot go into labor because I have to have a C-section because of the TAC. So August 30th, I had Sawyer of 2016. And Olivia actually was supposed to be born August 18th of 2015. So a year after her birth date, her actual birth, what she was supposed to be born in, he was born. So he is now my rainbow baby. And that's what they call about rainbows born after loss. And we still were hoping for a girl. So I then, at the time, after losing Olivia, I did not want to go back into teaching. I lost my passion. It was completely gone. I didn't like it anymore. So I stayed home with Sawyer until he was 6 months old. And then I went back into teaching just to kind of collect my things and see if I really wanted to continue. And I decided nope. And I had this offer for another company. So I went in for a compliance specialist in an insurance job. I did that. And then little Sweetie Pie showed her face a few months later and got pregnant with Amelia. She is our little shining star, and had her February 12th of 2019. She is 1 year old, technically 15, but 15-month-old. And had her. And after having her, I told between her pregnancy, I really told my husband, I said, I really want to be home. Is that something feasible? And he was kind of up and down about the whole thing. And he said, let's just try it out for a few months while you're home with her and see if we can make it work. And I did it for a little bit. And then I was like, okay, let's try and do this tutor thing. I got this opportunity to do a tutor and be a part-time tutor. So I could she would go to school and get that social interaction with the boy, kind of with the boys. And then I could be also home with her. So I tried doing part-time tutoring, but then we found out some things about Sawyer. So I needed to come home. So I then decided to come home, which now I'm a full-time coach and a stay-at-home mom. This is actually my 4th network marketing gig. I've been in four MLMs, and I saw Kelsey actually through a headband company that we both love. It's called the B Brand, and I don't know what it was. It was something that she was saying. Maybe she had her boys in the background. I don't know. But I was also a challenger for another coach. And I had previously been a Beachbody coach after Sawyer was born. And I just kind of let it go. It didn't really, I was a challenger, I was a coach, but just didn't really do anything about it. Didn't really say anything. And then started working out again with another coach, and I saw Kelsey through the B Brand, and I saw her boys in the background. I don't know exactly what it was, but I appealed to her because of the fact of her boys, because I had 2 boys. And I started looking at her stories, and I immediately said, I need to be with her. I don't need to be with her. And I switched over. And I switched over last year, as Kelsey said. And what coaching has done for me, it has made me accountable. Back when I started, after a year, I didn't really work out. I just drank the shakes, and I didn't feel good. I didn't stay with I didn't even start working out. I was not at all worth it. And then I became confident. I feel so good about myself, and things that I share, I never thought that I would share. And then the pictures, during this round of 10 rounds, I am actually showing my picture of my body with, a bra on and my waist. And I would have never done that. And I feel so good because I want to help, so many other people, because it's become such a passion of mine. I think with the other network marketing gigs, I've always wanted to help people. Even when I was teaching, it just became such a big, huge, I get joy out of making you feel good. And that's what I love. So that's pretty much me. Who am I? I am 36 years old. I am a confident person who is a Jesus follower, which was never always the case. I love Disney, love it. We're annual pass holders. We go every other weekend, if not more. I'm an avid reader, and it doesn't always happen with the three kids, but with coaching, it has made me more conscious and more intentional with that reading time. I'm a planner, I'm an organizer, and I love the fact that I found the Passion Planner. I'm always a teacher. I always love to help. I always want to help in any way I can, whether it's, helping somebody in coaching or helping my kids when they're, their activities that I do, and helping them learn. And then to connect to rainbows, that's why the whole presentation is, because I have 2 rainbow babies. I also call Lance, my older one, they call usually the one before a loss as the sunshine. So he's my sunshine kid is Lance. And then I have 2 rainbow babies and then an angel baby. And the reason I also love butterflies is it connects me to Olivia, because we always talk about how Olivia turned into a butterfly when she went up to see God. My goals, maintain Emerald. I am Emerald right now, but I just want to keep it going. And I want to hit EC 10 by every 10th of the month. Add 2 coaches every month. Add 3 challengers every month, and definitely become Diamond. So that's it. And thank you so much for allowing me to share my story. Sometimes I know I can ramble on, and I'm glad that I had the slides, because there's a lot more to the story. And I love, if you have any questions or anything, I would love to, I don't mind sharing it. It used to hurt when it first, 2015 first year or whatever, but now it just brings me joy to talk about her. And I even sometimes when I talk to God at night, and I pray and stuff, I'm like, guess what, honey, I got to talk about you today. So I love talking about her. So I don't mind talking about her at all. So that's my story.
You're gonna make me cry again. That was so good. You're so strong, and I knew your story. I mean, I know you, but I didn't know everything that had happened. And just for you to be able to share that tonight and connect with us, we really all appreciate it, because I want you all to feel confident in telling your story, because you just don't know whose life you can impact. And you do a really good job of that. So if you guys aren't following Jen, please do. She is a true teacher. She gives so much value, and just someone that makes you want to feel good. I feel like I know if I'm not in a good mood, I can go to her page or I can message her, and she will bring, out that happiness. So she's definitely a positive light. And
You're
so
gonna make me
many
cry.
no, in so many lives, and in lives. But no, you are an incredible mama. So
Oh, thank you.
that was
You're not so bad yourself, sweetie.
no, that was awesome. Both of you guys tonight. I mean, I'm just sitting here wow, all of us got here because we said yes to somebody when we probably didn't want to, and we were just yeah, I guess we'll try this. And look now, all of us are impacting each other and so many lives that we connect with every day. And I know, warm and fuzzy right now, but still, seriously, it's this really can change your life, and it's really cool to see you guys grow in this gig and in this team.
No.
Yeah, you did so good, Jen. I'm just
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm wait, no. And then you're oh, I had 2 more babies. I'm no, that is insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was very hard learning. We tried to sue the doctor that did our botched C-section, but it was within the statute of limitations. You only get 2 years. And it was literally a month before the 2 years was about to be up. And we could have done an extension, but with all we had been through, we were just you know what, this is God telling us to just quit and let bygones be bygones, and let's move on.
Is he still doing is he still delivering?
The doctor is still doing surgeries, and I, as much as I can, try and get my word, my mouth, if somebody says anything in any of the local pages, I say something like, watch yourself, or, don't do this, doctor. Yeah.
And then I don't even know, I missed that you had a C-section with Lance until you said that.
Yes.
And you had said that you delivered.
I was actually 41 weeks with Lance. And I went in and my body was not going through labor. And they had to break my water. I pushed for 3.5, 4 hours, trying every different position because I was adamant on having him naturally. And I mean, I had the drugs, but I was so like, no, he's going to go through my vagina. Like, it's going to happen. And when my blood pressure dropped, they said, okay, we have to get him out. It's not safe anymore. And I said, okay. And, within, 10 minutes, he was out. My husband's like, why couldn't we have done that in the first place? And I mean, he was born like almost before midnight. And he'll actually be 7 on Saturday.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, so it's just crazy. And when they were like emergency surgery, and I was nervous because I didn't know the doctor. When you have a practice, you see all the doctors when you're pregnant. She was the only one that I did not see. And that made me nervous. Huh? It was a female. Yeah. And it's not like and I have to get, you don't get a map when you go in there. You don't get a map saying like, this is the cervix, this is your bladder, this is, they don't know exactly they know exactly where to go around, but they don't have like a map and like labels when they won't go in there. So, and she cut apart my cervix, and the high risk doctor kind of like when he went in there for my TAC, he suspected it. But then when we went up to Chicago to see Dr. Haney, and Dr. Haney is phenomenal. He, and every day, like I want to email him and like send him a picture of like, thank you so much for your 2 other babies. But he is so good at this. He does 20 a day. And he's been doing this. No, he doesn't do 20 a day. He said he does it like, he does like 100 a day. And doing it for 20 years. And he is amazing because my insurance was going to cover it. He called my insurance and said, you are covering it.
That's
Which,
amazing.
doctors don't do that.
Right.
So anyways.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't make you feel like a badass. I don't know what will. I feel like I felt when I started my fitness journey, Elsie was 10 months old and I did 80-day obsession, and every single time I like wanted to give up or I thought it was too hard, I like went back to like my traumatic delivery with Elsie and even more traumatic recovery. And I'm like, if you can go through that physical pain, you can get through this workout.
Yeah. And we have the picture, we have her urn on the mantle in our dining room, which is where the kids play. And then we have some other pictures and mementos because they give us when you leave the hospital. And that whole week that I was in the hospital, it was hard because for 3 days, my husband didn't want to leave. And then when he left, he didn't want to leave me alone. So my sister drove up from down south. My little sister was in LA at the time, and she was like, I'm ready to book it out. Let me know when, and I'm ready to leave and all of that. So, but I told her, no, it's no, I've got Marsha. So, but Marsha came up and she stayed with me for a couple in the hospital. And then I think it was like the last 2 nights I was by myself, and my whole body went through the whole thing. Like I had my milk come in. I had, they had to come in and check for my belly to make sure that it was going down. My milk came in, and I would have I'd wake up with the sweats, and it was like all during that whole week that I was, in the process of, sick and in the hospital and in ICU and all of that. And they were pumping me so much full of antibiotics. They didn't know what I had. So they were pumping me so full of antibiotics that my lungs ended up becoming the liquid in my lungs. So then I had to go to the pulmonary unit and be in the pulmonary unit for one day because I had so much in my lungs, and then I went to the women's unit. So yeah, it was crazy. And then, you know, whenever I work out, I don't, you know, when you watch me, you see the kids running all the way in the background because they get up at sometimes 4:30, 5 a.m. And,
That's
you know,
crazy.
when I work out, they're in the background. There's no denying. Sometimes I'm in my master bedroom, you know, in my bedroom, like working out, but sometimes, you know, it's just easier to be out with them in the living room. So I work out with there, and you see them running around, and that's my energy right there. When my daughter picks up a 2-pound weight and she starts lifting it up, like during 10 rounds, you know, you had got to do the back thing, and she picked it up the other day and she started like trying to do it, or she picks up the loops and starts playing with them. I'm just like, you know what, this right there, that right there, seeing her pick them up gives me the confidence that I need to keep going, like even when I don't want to work out that day. And seeing Sawyer running around, and then I have the pictures on the wall of Olivia, that does it for me. I'm like, okay, there's my motivation.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
That was amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Anyone have any comments, questions, thoughts? Friday Eve, right? I always get my days wrong because I have no idea what day it is. Oh. All right. Let's take a picture.
Oh, Anne, that's amazing. I love the fact that you made tie-dye butterflies. I was just telling Mel that I loved her tie-dye shirt, and that it like reminded me of rainbows.
Amazon.
Check out her Instagram. It was so
I
fun.
will.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay. All right, keep moving. We're gonna do a boomerang. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it worked. I always have to try not to move the camera too much. Who else finishing? I know a bunch of us are finishing a preliminary. Who else finishing 10 rounds? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. Yeah. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna do next, but I'm gonna try and get some good sleep so I can be ready to go. All right, ladies, it was fun. Thanks so much, you guys, for sharing. I know that took a lot of like guts and confidence, so you guys rock.
Killed it.
Yep, slayed. Talk to you later.
Bye.